All right, so today we're diving into this really gritty collection of short stories set right in the heart of 1970s Philadelphia. We're talking about a world of working class struggles, some seriously dark secrets, and characters who are pushed right to their absolute limits.
And you gotta understand the setting here. This intersection of Kensington and Allegheny, what everyone calls K&A, it's not just some backdrop. No, it's a living, breathing character that really shapes every single person and every decision in these stories. So here's how we're gonna break it all down. First, we'll get a real feel for the neighborhood itself. Then we're gonna tear into two very different stories. One's a classic noir mystery, the other's a tragic drama. And then, at the end, we'll connect the dots and see what bigger picture they're painting together. Okay, so first things first, what is K&A? Well, it's a place of deep contradictions. For the folks who live there, it's the center of their entire universe, full of memories. But at the same time, it's shabby, it's crime-ridden, and it's a place they all dream of escaping. It's home. And it's a trap. I mean, you can almost feel it, right? You can hear that train rattling overhead. You can smell the stale beer coming out of those corner tap rooms. This is the atmosphere that just hangs heavy over every single page, this constant gritty presence in all of these stories. Let's jump into our first story. Now, this one is a classic noir setup. You've got a soldier coming home from war, but he doesn't get a hero's welcome. Instead, he walks right into a personal tragedy that just spirals into this dark and really dangerous investigation. Man, this story just hits the ground running. I mean, there is no time to breathe. Jack is home one day, and just 2 days later, his entire world is completely shattered. He's immediately thrown into this desperate search for answers about the woman he thought he knew. And this is the question, right? The one that drives the whole story. The police, they see it as just another case in a city full of them. A girl working in a topless bar, got mixed up with the wrong crowd. She's just another statistic to them. But for Jack, it's everything. And there's no way he's letting it go. So, with the cops basically doing nothing, Jack turns to the only people he can think of, the ones who knew Joe best. First up is her roommate, Aura, and then her childhood friend, Carol Ann. What he finds out pretty quick, though, is that they are both stuck in the same dangerous world that got Joe killed. And that leads Jack to this guy, a loan shark named Mike Burke. Turns out, Aura had borrowed money she couldn't pay back, and Burke forced her to work it off in his sleazy clubs. Joe got pulled in trying to help her friend, and before you know it, Carol Ann was dragged in too. It's just a classic awful cycle of debt and desperation. As Jack keeps digging, things they get incredibly messy. He starts learning that Joe wasn't exactly the innocent girl he remembered from before he went to war, and as he's spending all this time with Aura and Carol Ann, his grief starts getting all tangled up with these new, really confusing feelings for both of them. And just when Jack thinks he's closing in on the truth about the club owners, boom, the climax hits. But the real killer, it's someone else entirely. In this terrifying showdown between Aura and Carol Ann, the truth just comes spilling out with this one shocking line from Aura. So get this. This whole thing, it wasn't about money or drugs. It was pure obsession. Aura, who everyone saw as the prettiest girl in the neighborhood, was secretly, desperately in love with Jack. When Joe would just toss aside his letters from Vietnam, Aura would fish them out of the trash, read them, and then write back, pretending to be Joe. She murdered her best friend just to have Jack for herself. What a twist. Okay, take a deep breath because we are switching gears completely now. We're diving into the second story, Memories of Katie, and this one moves away from the noir mystery and goes deep into this psychological tragic romance. And right off the bat, you can see the conflict just by looking at the characters. You've got Matt, a local kid from K&A. He's shy, he's a straightforward computer programmer. And then you have Katie. She's from a rich Chicago family, goes to an Ivy League school, but she is hiding something deep and dark. It is a classic story of two very different worlds colliding. Their whole relationship is it's this heartbreaking downward spiral. I mean, it starts out so promising, this charming meeting on a train, and it blossoms into this passionate affair. But it gets completely consumed by Katie's inner demons, and it leads them down this really dark path that ends in tragedy. You see, what Matt starts to figure out is that Katie's wild behavior, it's not just about partying. This constant need she has to be high on pot, on booze, even on cocaine, it's a desperate attempt to just numb some painful secret that she has buried way down deep inside.
And then you get this moment where the secret it explodes out of her. During a really bad trip, Katie relives the thing that's been haunting her. She was driving during this vicious fight with her mom, and in the moments right before a fatal car crash, they screamed these horrible things at each other. She blames herself for her mother's death, and that guilt is literally destroying her.
And the thing is, the consequences of all her pain, they don't just affect her. They ripple out, and the results are devastating. Matt's best friend, Bob, he tries to protect Katie from a shady dealer. He confronts the guy and ends up getting shot and killed for it. An innocent person pays the ultimate price for Katie's pain. So we've got these two totally different stories, right? A murder mystery and this tragic romance. Let's pull the camera back and see how they actually work together to tell a much larger story about life and death in this one specific place and time. So if you look at them side by side, yeah, on the surface, they're different. You've got a noir versus a drama, a Vietnam vet versus a programmer. One story is all about an external conflict, finding a killer, while the other is totally internal, facing trauma. But look closer at the themes: survival, vengeance, guilt, self-destruction. They're all different sides of the exact same coin. But when you really get down to it, what are both of these stories about? At their heart, they're about escape. Caroline is desperate to escape the physical trap of the Candia neighborhood. Katie is desperate to escape the mental prison of her own guilt. They're both about that very human and often tragic need to just get away. And that really leaves us with the big question of the whole collection, doesn't it? Does the harshness of a place like Caney create these desperate situations, or does it just pull back the curtain and reveal the struggles that were already there all along? It's a powerful thought to end on, making you think about that deep, deep connection between who we are and where we're from.